Hi, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my friends, and every other person that watches Raise a Glass. You are yet shooting another episode, and we're going to be talking about marketing, and we have some special guests with us. But for marketing, you can't say that it's just for just some specific people. So if you're going to toast a lady, you're going to do a little bit of sales, converting them, talking to them to like who you are, like your personality. So those are some of the things that we're going to be discussing because I believe everyone needs it. Businesses, CEOs, your family, your friends, at one point in another, they are just going to do some sort of marketing, right? But before we go further to introduce our amazing guests today, we have something from one of our partners, and it's from WH Jacket. They sent this to me, and dear Sharon, this product was made so much love. We hope that it brings infinite warm space to you. And then this is how it looks like, right? So you can also get yours. Just look at the text on the screen or simply reach out to us and you can get your own. You can place it on your parlor or anywhere that you feel this pillow would fit into. So I like the texture and the color. Pretty amazing. I'm going to be introducing our guest for today. I have two amazing personalities here that are going to be trashing out our topics for today. I have Demilade here, and I also have Oluchukwu here as well. So I would like them to introduce themselves to us. So I'm going to start from Demilade, then Oluchukwu.
Hi everyone, my name is Demilade. I am a marketing specialist at Clever. What am I meant to say? I'm left-handed. I like to watch animes because of my brothers. Okay. I have other brothers who they've influenced me. And I think that's all. I also like to cook. Very, very weird, but I know people say that cooking is stresses them, but it's the opposite for me. If I want to de-stress, something I like doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Oh, hello. My name is Oluchukwu, and I am a marketing professional, as I say. I currently lead marketing at one of Nigeria's fintech. Aside marketing, I talk about money. So if I'm not talking about how your business is going to get to the right audience, I'm talking about money. And aside that, I don't exactly watch movies, so It's one of those things that I find I'm still learning how to do, right? So yeah.
Interesting.
All right, thank you very much for introducing yourselves. I'm an anime fan anyway. I like anime.
That's good.
All right, thank you. So we're going to move over to our hot take for today. And today's hot take is talking about focusing on women. So how this is going is that it's a scenario. Now there is a lady and she's in labor, right? Mm-hmm. And then the man has a friend, and then the friend just got shot, right? And then he has to choose between going to stay with his wife, who is in labor, or going to stay by his friend who has just been shot. What is the right thing, or what do you think the man should do in that instance? He's his best friend and his best buddy. Okay. Should he, she's just pregnant, and just having a child. There's no big deal. What do you think?
He said just pregnant. First of all, this sounds like all these Twitter trends. What did happen? And not start fighting. You pick your mother or your wife. What kind of thing? For me, I really think a lot of factors to think about. So, for example, is it a thing of your friend doesn't have anybody and you are the only one at that point in time that can actually help him? First and foremost, your wife comes first because you are married to her, and I'm a Christian. The Bible says that, two has become one. But my point is, if it's a thing of, that he doesn't have any other person to help him, then you can explain to your wife, and you can get someone else to help your wife. You can explain to her and, just quickly check up on him and then come back. But if it is a thing of your wife doesn't have anybody to help her at that point in time, in terms of priority, you actually have to stand with her first. And maybe look for somebody else that can help your friend or something like that. Because your wife is your highest priority. The moment you get married, she's your number one priority. So, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, very simple. Why would you, who are you going to pick? Your wife, of course. I don't understand those kind of questions you're going to ask. So wait now, I'll be in labor for a man. We want to have our child. This is the life and death situation.
True.
And then you now say your friend got shot. How am I sure that it's not by the hand they shot him? Who said that what's sensitive intestine or something, organ is in danger? Please, you're going to choose your wife. Okay? Are you hearing me? You're going to choose who? Your wife. But then if I want to be a politician, I'll say, who's both of them in the same hospital, running from ward 1 to ward 2?
What's the friend is like far away, like a
And they
different
should carry
state.
ambulance and bring it to But really, I think that you should prioritize your wife. Why you can actually look for somebody that can stand in for you, for your friend. Or even probably one of the medics, somebody can actually just stand in and then you be on the phone and something like that. I don't think you should leave your wife for anything in the world, shall. Please, let's be guided.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Well, anyway, as a man or as a guy, so I think your wife comes first. Just as other, speakers I mentioned, the best thing to do is have a call, maybe a phone call, just to check up on them and send somebody on your behalf. And then when you're done with your wife, which is your first priority, then you can go ahead and go and visit your friend. Because I can imagine your wife hearing that the reason why you're not in labor with her is because you went to your friend.
Yeah,
It's not like she's not going to be empathetic about it, but I mean,
she will not feel
do you understand? Who is topping the charts? Very important. All right. Thank you very much. So we're going to quickly move to our next session where we're going to talk on the topic for today. We're talking about why CEOs don't allow marketers do their job. For someone who has been in marketing for quite a while, I've had conversations and experienced some people have been okay with it, but some people, I don't think that we can control what the narrative is. But why is it that, why is it that they don't trust, people who do marketing to say, okay, I think you can take this and I think you can do this job and I think you can do it very well. So, I come up with an entire strategy and I say, for instance, let's use Google Ads. And then you come back to me and feel like, Google Ads, no, I just saw this Facebook ad and I saw this brand doing it on Facebook and Instagram. And I think we should also follow this route. So you're not trusting the person who you have employed to do the work. But maybe somewhere, somehow, maybe you've had a conversation with somebody outside, maybe outside your immediate team, and then the person has suggested to you that maybe Facebook is better for running your ads or Instagram is better for running your ads. But the person who you have employed, which is the marketing person, has given you a suggestion that Google Ads will work, or maybe we have to do blogging, and you say, no, we cannot do this, and we cannot do it this way. And the amazing thing about it is that I spoke with somebody last week. We had like an hour call. The problem or the challenge that the person had was that he wants to grow the company, but the CEO does not want to give him money to grow the company. The CEO says that he should continue to do what he's doing organically. Currently, he has worked in that company for 6 months, and he told me that he has only been able to grow the followers to about 100, and maybe email lists, maybe 100 people, then maybe people in the community, maybe about 200 or so. But he wants to be able to do more. Like, he wants to be able to say at the end of the year, I can get maybe 1,000 followers at the end of the year. I can get maybe 1,000 community members. But the CEO is saying, no, I want it to grow organically. And he's frustrated that no single drop of money. I'm saying that no single drop of money. So these questions are really, 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 really bothering for anybody to speak to anybody. So you have your friends calling for up to 1 hour and they want to resign. They don't want to do the job because they don't see their portfolio growing. You can't leave that company and can't tell somebody, oh, you grew 50 followers in 1 year. They'll be like, guy, are you playing? What were you doing in that place? And you can't use your personal money to grow the organization, right? So I'm going to throw this question to you, Demilade. How has it also been? Have you had that experience where you are also trying to grow the organization and the company, right? and also knowing that the CEO or whoever the founder is doesn't want to give you enough funds to be able to get what you need. Not even for yourself, for the company itself.
Okay, so in pidgin English, we call this organ-led marketing or organ-led company. But I mean, in my previous place of work, like different places that I worked in before, I've definitely experienced this where you are telling the CEO and you're bringing like information backed by data. Like, this is what is working. This is what we should do. But they are telling you, oh, my friend did this or what worked for them in the past. In fact, I remember one of the CEOs I worked for. So he was a co-founder in a previous tech company that, I mean, they eventually like packed up. So, but like, he was always telling us, oh, then that's what they did. That's what they did. And I had to explain to him that marketing is always evolving. What worked yesterday might not be what is like working today. Based on like data, this is like a data-driven decision, not your instincts, not what had like worked in the past. But it was always like arguing with us, and we're always having like back and forth with him. It felt like we were being like strangled in the marketing scene because we couldn't even really achieve much. So I mean I totally get the whole idea of how annoying that thing can be and how it affects and inhibits like the growth of a company. So I mean, like it's crazy. Something that is I'm very happy that we're having this conversation because it's something that a lot of marketers experience, like in their companies. So I mean, I've had my fair share of that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay.
Oh, definitely. I don't know why you'd go through the process of employing somebody, doing all the hiring process, and then not trust the person to do their job. So I've worked at different places. I've consulted with different people or for different companies, different startups, and I've come to see that there's still a lot of Nigerian leaders, I'll put it that way, that find it very hard to just delegate because this is not your area of expertise. This is what this person probably has been doing for another 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And then you always have to interfere. While I do not blame them, if I want to tilt towards the management and the leadership part, I'll say something like, oh, they want to just ensure that whatever they're doing, their business is running well. But then we still have a lot of leaders, a lot of CEOs that need to learn how to just let people do their job. Funny enough, I've been lucky enough to have less people who interfere, but you see the ones that have interfered. It's typically not funny at all. And I have colleagues, like you even mentioned that somebody had to even call to like lament and tell you their side of the story, but I've literally listened to a lot of sad stories about how people are being limited, or rather marketers are being limited. And if there was a way, I don't know if you can do like a general town hall meeting to tell people that, please, when you employ people and then they're able to come up with strategy, they're able to come up with data-backed reasoning, not just saying, oh, I think, or not just saying, oh, I've tried this, but if there's actual result to show for it, then they should actually be left to do their jobs.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's very key. And that brings me to the next, not necessarily the next question, but I saw something some time ago and it was a video and was by an influencer that is popular in the tech space. And they were asking people that what is the highest thing you bought with your salary? And then they asked the product designer, I think he said he bought a car.
A car, yeah, I think I said that.
He bought a car, and then they asked the marketing person. The person said, "Oh, I bought a MacBook." I'm like, "A MacBook you did buy? Do you understand? The MacBook. Why all the other tech guys were mentioning the cool things that they have?"
Yeah.
So it shows the disparity in the pay that we are talking about, and the fact that these are the guys, the marketers are the guys who are still going to push the product out there. But when you look at the disparity of the pay, you keep thinking that how much value are we even putting into when you bring a marketer on board, aside from the exactly say finish, because anybody can just go to the internet and, do a course, which is fine. It should be the way, it should be that way. People should be able to go online and do a course and then be able to practice what they do. But when you're not tying value to the actual amount that you're going to pay, because it brings us to the fact that if you're not seeing the entire value of the marketer that you're bringing on board, or even the personnel that you're bringing, the same thing also happens in HR too. Similarly in HR, because you find a lot of HR people not being able to do their job because the CEO wants to do everything. Hiring, the firing. The only thing the HR will do is probably do payroll.
Or send letter.
Or send letter. Do you understand? But when the HR has an issue and is trying to bring up let's increase salary, start hearing stories, start hearing all kinds of things. So I am very concerned about the pay, right, for marketers. I'm not saying that they should pay marketers the entire money in the world, but I'm saying that when you say competitive pay, let it be competitive enough. Let me not wake up and see that the payroll, mistakenly see payroll and see that, product designer is collecting 800 to 1 million, while me, I'm collecting 200K. And I'm wondering who is entering the market. Some of us marketers, we the enter markets to download app. I have danced. I have danced in the market to tell people to come and download app. Do you understand? So you can't say that that's not a lot of value to bring. But what do you think about the disparity in the pay? And what do you think that we can do better or CEOs should do better for marketers?
So I feel like it's because of, for example, when the age of like technology and let's say like software developers, everybody knows that you always need like a software developer, but there's a lot, like you said, there's sort of like see finish that's come to marketing where it feels like, anybody can do it because it's not, people say it's not technical, which is not true anyway. And that's why I'm happy for the rise of like growth marketing. And I'm happy that now we can attribute like metrics to different things like, the ROI and all of those, marketing terms and concepts. Because initially it just used to be a thing of, it's not just put social media posts. It's not just write caption. I can do this, anybody can do it. So they're just that. Exactly. Ask ChatGPT. AI writes it for you, all that kind of stuff. But when you actually now, in past companies, for example, for SEO, is always a fight because everybody knows that SEO is like a long-term game. You need to give at least 6 months to be able to see like very tangible results. But because of CEOs are like quick, fast, and when they can't see like that fast results, they just believe that if you don't know what you're doing, come and be going, that kind of thing. So I really feel like, on the part of we marketers, we should be able to give measurable outcomes and results. Not just say, I will grow your following, but by like how can this thing actually affect, the business's revenue and all of that. And also for the company to understand that without the marketing team, like this company cannot scale, this company cannot grow. And for them to like be able to respect the marketing team, better, because the kind of work that we do is not something that anybody can do at all, even with the rise of like other types of marketing, performance, growth, product, and all of that. So it's just very important that CEOs learn to sit down and really understand the amount of work that marketers are doing, and respect what we are doing like in marketing. And please increase our pay because it is very, very, very important. Honestly, like it's a very crazy thing. I see some job postings online on LinkedIn and I'm like, you're a very wicked person. Honestly, like you posted this thing, you're wicked, because how do you expect somebody to do all of this and you are paying them like this amount of money? So just really like understand, putting yourself in their shoes and really sitting down to understand the kind of work that they do. And I think, like I said, on our own end, we should learn to be able to explain what the results will be, like able to explain like, these are the objectives, these are the results that I'm going to get or that I've gotten for you. By the time you can explain how this thing is helping their revenue, increasing the growth, it will make the CEO like, okay, more open to embracing your work, understanding what you're doing, appreciating you better, that kind of thing. So yeah.
So for the part of discrepancy, like you said it, like how I'd have loved to even put it, which is, we need to be able to communicate our value. So most of the time, whenever they are thinking about laying off, whenever we talk about the discrepancy environment, the first department they are thinking about is who is spending money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Can we cut it down? Yeah. So I feel like we need to be able to communicate our value better, because at the end of the day, if you have the best product, if you have the bestest of the best service and nobody knows about it, what happens? Nothing. You're not getting any dime. The same thing happens, and this now translates that when people know about it, which is the job of marketing, when your team is able to push this good work out there, what then happens? The salespeople are able to do their work. They're able to convert these people. They're able to now make, increase the revenue, right? So one thing that even came to my mind when you asked that question was, I think we need to have more marketing founders. That way, you can easily, like, they'll be able to now influence. I don't know why I'm thinking town hall meeting. They can tell the other people that you see this department, in as much as you think the product person, the software person is doing a great job, you also need to compensate this particular arm of the business really well so they can remain motivated, and they can also give you the best of the best. Because you can't tell me that you have a budget of $100,000 and you're expecting me to have a budget of $100 to give you the same results. It's not going to work. But you see that building the product thing, doing the research thing, funny thing is you can still get that same value. You can still get as good, as good. But with marketing, it's not the same. You need to pump in money. So when you're thinking about the people that would help you do the work, because now there's even technical marketing. There's technical arm. There's the all fine and glamorous arm. There's the PR. There's communicators. So many parts of marketing, right? So we need to be able to give people value for the work that they do, right? So I think one of the best ways, apart from us communicating our values, we need more founders that do marketing to be able to show that this is why these people should earn more. Yeah.
I just want to quickly say something like about the layoff. One of the places I previously worked at, we were 7 in the marketing team. And when they wanted to lay off people, marketing was the first. 5, they reduced from 7 to 2. We're just 2 like that was remaining. So, and it was very crazy. Like it really affected us because other department that they left them, but they're like, marketing, come and be doing.
And that's really sad because it almost happened to me, or it happened because when we, at a point in time when there was issues in the company, I was the first one to say, why is it there? Why is it there? Do you understand? I'm like, but you know the reason why I'm here, and why is it that I am the first option to kick out of the organization? But when the going was good, you didn't remember me. Now the going is bad, and the marketers are the one that are removing it, and it's quite sad. But then again, just as you mentioned, presentation, to be able to communicate what exactly you want to give to your management and what exactly you want to achieve in terms of IRI, in terms of revenue. So you're able to tell people, they can see the vision and see, if I give you $100,000, you can make $100,000 from that $100,000, right? Then also in terms of, let the budget also match your expectation. You can't be expecting 1 million downloads, please. And then you say your budget is 50,000 naira. I want 1 million Nigerians to download your app. Do you know Nigerians? Have you seen Nigerians? Have you marketed to Nigerians? Have you run an ad? That people just say interested. And the instruction, they will not follow instruction.
Or the conversion.
They will not follow instruction. How do you explain to your management that these Nigerian people, they have coconut? They don't used to follow instruction.
Like you have to say over and over.
You have to push,
break it down,
and break it down before they decide to adopt the product. So you have to match your expectation with what you are required for. So you don't just wake up. I'm not saying that you can have lofty dreams. You can have lofty visions of having 10 million people download your app. Fantastic, fine. But are they really realistic? Are they smart? Can you achieve it? Even if you have the money. What about Chon? There's people that spent a lot of money in this same market. Retention is something else. They'll tell you they have 3 million users, but what are that 3 million users doing there? What are they doing? They ran away after the that they'll go to the next new app that tells them you can get free this, free that. So Nigerians, I don't know. Our market is very dynamic. So sometimes even when you read all the books and all the entire thing, you find that the market is still very, very dynamic, and you learn by experimentation, right? Just like market have had to do. If you are lucky, if you have a founder-led that is a marketing person, you can do a lot of experimentation. You can explain, and person will say, "Oh, I get your idea.
To it.
I get what you're trying to say. Okay, let's try it. Let's do it." Even if you don't have the entire money, right? There's someone I worked with, and the reason why I liked the person was, if the thing did not cost a lot of money, you say, "Do it. Go and do it. Execute it." But if it costs a lot of money, say, oh, let's think about it. But if it's not going to cost any idea, go and do it and come back, because it's testing. You never know which channel will work.
Yeah.
You never know what will be better. But before we round up, I'll just quickly jump to this, which is a very interesting topic, and things we talk about a lot is as marketers or even as business owners, as when you're trying to advertise your product or push out your product, you want to use influencers. Because I think that for Nigerians, aside from running ads, because of the trust issue, you have to use people that they know, or known faces, or you have to put a face to the brand. That's why a lot of people are shouting, oh, humanize. It's because Nigerians, if they talk to, I used to work in call center, and when people call, when they see that they are speaking to the IVR, that's the IVR is the interactive voice service, and the auto response that says, oh, welcome, press 2, they will not continue the conversation. They want to talk to a human being. Even though they can resolve it on that IVR, people still want to talk to a human being. And that's Nigerians for you. And I think that influences the fact that we want to push a lot of influencers. So there's been this argument that should we use micro-influencer or a macro-influencer? People are now of the opinion, I haven't tested the market, that these so-called macro-influencers just want to chop your money and go. They are not giving you the results that you want. We want to go for micro-influencers. But then again, I'm of the belief is go hard or go home.
Go home.
Do you understand? Because it's also a risk to use micro-influencers. Some of them too, you never can really tell, right? But what's your thought process on that? Is it a mix of both, or should you, if you want to push out your product, depending on what because if you're asking you to bring 1 million downloads, I don't think that your micro influencers will do much, right? You might want to go very big about it, but maybe choosing the right person, because a lot of people don't choose the right influencer. You just see a fashion influencer trying to promote something in an industry entirely different, and you'll be like, are they wasting money, or maybe they're begging my management to give me 5 naira? Look at what these people are doing with money. I think I can do better. But what do you think?
No, actually I agree. I think it's a slippery slope, because, for example, I'm all for macro influencers, but I think that the mistake that we marketers make whenever we're trying to look for influencers to work with is that we're always looking at the size of their community. Maybe, how many followers? 1 million, 2 million, as opposed to how engaged that community is. So, for example, there are people that you see that they have 1 million followers, but when it comes to likes and comments, they don't really have that. People are not really liking or engaging. But I don't know if I can mention names, but I know some influencers that maybe they just have 100,000, but they would deliver more results than 1 million followers, because they have a very engaged community. They really, like you said, humanize their brand. People are there for their personality and all of that. And I think another thing I always even advise influencers generally is, I know they always say, oh, don't pick a niche, just be everything, do lifestyle. But I'm very big on picking niches, because it makes it easier for people to find you. So if I'm a fintech company, I work for a fintech company, and we always think of influencers to work with. We would always look for people that are really talking about tech products, or the tech space, AI, all those kind of things, because we know that these people have our target audience as part of their followers, as opposed to meeting a fashion influencer or a food person. But if you always talk about food, any food brand, they will always, their go-to person first, because of they know that people are following you for that. So I think it is a thing of look out for the influencers. How engaged is the community? How aligned what they do? How is it aligned to what your brand and what your product is about? As opposed to, are they how many followers? Are they big and all of that? I think that's where I stand. So focusing more on that would help give you an idea of, okay, who are we following? Who are we going with? So I think that's it for me.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So for using influencers for me, I recently came across this data that has been flying around about the percentages that of results or return on investment from making use of influencers. And it typically should start from the actual goal of the company. So if you're let's use fintech again, and then you want to get people to be aware about your brand, and you're going to go and use a lifestyle content creator or a restaurant reviewer, what is your aim? So it's possible for these companies to actually use an opposite audience just because they want to get a wider reach, just because they want to bump up the numbers. But the first thing before making use of any influencer or even using the influencer marketing campaign is to have like your goal in check. If it's awareness, if it's to have like app download, if it's to have actual users, because you can get downloads and then within 1 week after they collect your referral bonus, they've gone up, right? So you need to first of all choose the goal, and when you're done getting the exact goal, that will now guide you in the right direction as to whether or not to use what size of influencers, what niche of influencers. And like you said, if you're going to be making use of any influencer at all, that person should be able to give you your desired result. It could be engagement, funny enough. So people might just want the engagement on their own post. So they use an influencer, please go and engage on this person's post. Or they want to even get downloads, right? So, and then in terms of making use of influencers, from that data that I've seen and from the campaigns I have done personally, I feel like you should, or rather, I know that at every point in time, you should have a balanced mix. You should always have a balanced mix, because you don't just want, if your goal is to have brand awareness, you cannot only use micro or nano influencers. You also want to have those bigger people talking about it, because it then also, you borrow their trust and get credibility for your brand. So at the end of the day, you have to have like a proper strategy and be able to back up with data the reasons why you are doing exactly what you're doing with which influencer. And I really, really love the idea of influencer marketing. I love it, because there's some brands I would never find out about apart from those people that I like and I follow. So it's a win-win. It will always be a win-win.
Yeah, I agree that influencer marketing, because personally, the reason why I've used Clever, and this is not because I'm doing adverts.
Thank you.
I'm not doing adverts, but there was because I have a friend on LinkedIn. He's also like an influencer, and I saw him talk about Clever and talk about the fact that I used it. I said, "Oh, I'm really looking for somewhere," and I downloaded the app. So that was somebody influencing me. If I had seen the ad, I don't think that I would have downloaded. I'd just be like, I beg God, these dollar people, they don't come.
One particular noodles too. An influencer talked about it. I'm like, I'm going to get the noodles.
To be honest, I also heard about Clever like from an influencer, and I just really saw like how the company was, and I was like, I really want to work here. So it was like a dream come true. Eventually getting to work at Clever. So yeah, he's Clever.
Exactly. So you can see that it works.
Yeah, so it works. Just finding a healthy balance and knowing when exactly to use your micro, what LT makes. There's some campaigns that you don't need a macro influencer for.
True.
You just need maybe nano, just a couple of people to start engagement or stories, or just spike, push. But as we round up, I just want to not only, I know that we pushed on CEOs, we've, really hammered on the fact that, CEO, you need to do X, you need to do it. So I want to look for a healthy balance as to also, because I understand where the CEOs are coming from as well, and founders. I'm the owner of the business, and you are the best person to know what you should do in the business. I can't, at the end of the day, it's your business. You don't want to make a wrong decision and say, I gave this person 10 million naira and I didn't see any result of the 10 million naira. That part also comes to play, that, you are paying people and then you are not sure if you are going to see the result, because even with the data, you are still not convinced if you should go ahead and do this campaign. The data, you are still not convinced, because at the end of this, your business, you have the heart of your business, right? But what advice do you think you can give, I'll start with you, that I can give CEOs to accept what their marketers are saying more? Like, what are the things that, should they be more open-minded? How can they be more open-minded to the idea? Should they allow marketers do A/B testing? Because that's important as well, because even if I'm the best and I come to your industry, I still need to test. What do you think?
So, in terms of bringing, because obviously you're in business as a leader, as a CEO or a founder, because you're meant to move the needle, you're meant to bring in revenue, and then you see that your marketing team is not giving you, let's say, the vibes, because actually it's just the vibe that you are getting, right? And your instinct is telling you, I don't think this is working. So you need to to a very large extent, trust the people that you have employed. If you do not trust the capability of the people that you've employed, that means there's something wrong. I'm not saying you should let them go, but they shouldn't even be on your team in the first place. Because for you to have employed that person, you want the person to deliver. And if you keep on having the reoccurring thoughts that this person is not going to deliver, then there is already a fundamental problem. And then for the CEO, I would also recommend at every point in time that you as a leader should sit down sometimes to learn. I worked at a company once, I can't remember. I worked at a company whereby the CEO used to join our marketing meetings. Not every time, but like once in a month, just to listen in and understand. And he will humbly ask questions. He was very, very, he admitted that he did not know everything. And people like that, after a while, there were some type of campaigns that didn't fly, that now fly. Because he now understood that you need to test some things. Even though we've told you that, if we do XYZ, we're going to get XYZ result. It's marketing. It's more about even psychology, because Nigerians, you tell them do click on the link, they'll be clicking on picture. Why? You get? So you need to understand that, in as much as these people know what they're doing, they've gone to the school, they've been doing this for years. There's also that part of they also need to try out new things so they can improve on their results. Because even when you talk about ads, when you talk about content, it is ever evolving. Just now, in the past, let's say like less than 5 years ago, it was picture that was it. Now it is video that's it. Just imagine if you as a marketer stick to only picture, what will happen to the brand? Obviously, you're not going to get the engagement that you want. The same thing with running ads. The way that people now interact is evolving even as much tech is coming out. So I'd always recommend that as a founder, as a leader, you want to also take your time and learn. And then if you keep having trust issues, then I don't think those people should be on your team, because if you do not leave people to do their jobs and you keep interfering, they would always come back and tell you that, Oga, it's you that interfered. And if you have some troublesome people, they will back up the day. They will help you and do deck and tell you that this is what I wanted to do. This is what you said we should do. And this was the result. So you don't want that, and you don't want to waste time, which is the most valuable thing, and also resources in the process of trying to figure out what should be working.
Yeah, thank you. I think just to add to that, like CEOs need to constantly remember that it's not about what you want. It's about like what the customers want. So you need to respect like experts' decisions from marketers, because if you keep trying to control everything, it will start looking like a vanity project rather than like a revenue driver, like, a growth driver for your company. And to be fair, for some CEOs, I sort of get it, because these people are collecting money from investors and investors are asking questions. So the pressure on them is what they are coming to come and put on you to say, why is this not working? So I think CEOs too should actually sit down and explain to these investors, because on the other side too, our company where we used to work, one of the companies I used to work at before, the CEO gonna tell the investors that don't worry, we'll get you this result in 1 month. And I'm like, are you people okay? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, go and tell them that this is not possible. Like, give them a realistic timeline, as opposed to exaggerating and then coming back to come and put pressure on us. And I really like what you said about like learning. Is one thing I like about our current CEO. Like, she's always asking questions. Okay, what about this? What about that? She's always wanting to, learn about whatever is going on, in the marketing team. And she's very open to trying out stuff like experimentation and all of that. And I think that that's how like every CEO should be. It can also be a character problem, because some people actually just have control issues, always wanting to control. So if you are going to be a CEO, or if you're already a CEO, these are things you should actually, like look at. Am I always wanting to, be in control of things? How can I take a step back? How can I understand things better? How can I delegate? I can look over things at a strategic level, but not day to day, like every single thing, micromanaging people and all of that. So I think that once they can put all those things, being open to learn, not always wanting to like control, giving realistic timelines to your investors, I think it's really going to help. And even understanding what the marketing team, what your marketing needs right from the hiring stage, so that you're not having like unrealistic expectations, exactly. So from the hiring stage, you're already very clear on what you want, what you're looking for, and you have like gotten that already, focusing on getting that from the hiring stage, and everything just becomes easy from there. So I think that these things would actually help them.
Yeah, thank you so much to our brilliant guest. And one thing that I wanted to add to this conversation as we round off is talking about maturity. I think that some CEOs are more mature. So let's put it this way, some have seen and some have seen. When I say some have seen is they've spent money and they know the worth of the money that they spent. So if you do a campaign and you probably lose 5 million, I'm not praying that you do a campaign and you lose money, but I'm just saying that some people have lost money on doing businesses and it does not affect them again. Like they know how to bear loss. The loss of spending money on businesses or spending money on campaign. But some people don't know how to bear loss of spending money. Maybe so for instance, in this case, marketing, they don't know how to chest it. Oh, I gave you 1 million naira. This thing did not work as we planned. We already had a strategy, and we wanted 10,000 download. Unfortunately, we had only 1,000 download, and then you become worked up about it. That means that for me, that CEO has not gotten to the stage where they can really accept the fact that sometimes marketing sometimes is the weirdest campaign or the campaign that you thought, it will go very far. And sometimes it's the one that you put your heart so much to it that you don't see. I think I remember one time there was a company I worked for, I put my heart to it. I said, we'll get so amount of download, we'll do this, we'll do that. When the thing finished, I could not go for the meeting. Like I could not, like even with myself, I was not confident. I was not confident to go into that meeting. When I entered the meeting, I was like, okay, you guys were able to do this. Okay, no problem. That's fine. That's okay. And I was like, this is really serious. Like there was no shouting, there was no screaming. There was the maturity that, okay, we did this and it did not work. Even though we spent a lot of money.
And you just like, how can we learn from this?
How can we learn from this? What can we do better? Exactly. That was the conversation. And there was an entire meeting with the team that maybe next time we will not spend money on this channel again. We would rather spend money on this particular channel that is giving us results instead of going all out to find out this channel. So that's that for today. I wish we could spend more talking about it because there are so many things to uncover. But thank you once again to our amazing and brilliant guests who came today. And we really appreciate them. And as our culture in Raise a Glass, we are just going to raise a glass and say cheers.
Yeah, I'm started drinking my own though, so sorry.
Okay. So maybe cheers to marketers getting more big.
Yes. And a healthy
workplace.
Raise a glass of wine, anything you want. Raise a glass of wine.
Thank you. I hope
we had a great time.
Thank you so much for coming.